Hey, Episode 9 ZBK podcast. This is Chris. I'm here with AJ and Josh today. This is gonna be a fun episode. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good, brother. It's just lagging,
Doing
so.
good.
He's here.
I'm sorry that I'm lagging.
It's all good. We're here. All right, Episode 9, one episode before our in-person episode number 10. That's gonna be a special one. We're planning. Josh is actually flying out here in 10 days for my bachelor trip, and we're gonna be doing an in-person episode 10 podcast. So if you're watching this and you see this, send us in our zero ball knowledge DMs some questions that you want to hear us say on
In
episode.
our DMs.
Slide in our DMs. Slide in our
And,
DMs.
and slide into AJ's. Let's get it, bro.
Yeah, AJ's. All right, with that, let's move on to our highlights of the week. Josh, let's start with you. What's your highlight of the week?
My highlight of the week is Chelsea getting more silverware than Arsenal this year, winning the Summer League series.
It's a trophy.
It's a trophy. It's a trophy.
That was good. I watched that game. I watched part of that game today. I saw Nkunku's goal. You guys look good, man. You look like you're ready to start the season off strong.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, man. AJ, what's your highlight of the week?
I will say Lindsey Horan's goal. Shout out Women's World Cup again. Lindsey Horan's goal against the Netherlands after getting frustrated and then bringing it back to draw the Netherlands. Big moment.
Yeah, that was a rough game. It's been a rough World Cup so far. I think we haven't been up to our true potential, but we're gonna qualify and move on at this rate. So, my highlight of the week.
Yeah.
We will. Hopefully we actually show up and win it. My highlight of the week is not in soccer at all. It's we're gonna move to UFC. First time talking about UFC, but I think it was just too fun not to talk about it. Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier last night in the lightweight main event fight. Justin Gaethje looked like he was playing a video game. Kicked Dustin Poirier in the head and knocked him out clean. I don't know, man. I had nothing else for the week, so I was like, all right, let's talk. Let's go
That's a hell of a
UFC.
highlight. Hell of a highlight.
It's a good solid highlight.
Or, I mean, at UFC, we could talk about Derek Lewis taking his pants off again after he won the fight. Literally stood in the middle of the ring naked. So, or not naked, he had boxers on, but same thing. All right, highlights of the week brought to you by Zero Ball Knowledge. We have a big segment for you guys this week. We're going to be ranking all 20 Premier League teams for the 2023-2024 Premier League season, where we think each team is going to finish, why we think we're going to finish there. So let's get moving on to that. All right. Here's how this is going to work. We're going to go rank 1 through 20, but we're going to start with number 20. We're going to break this into 4 easy segments. So we're going to break it down 20 to 16, 15 to 11, 10 to 6, and then 5 to 1. We'll go through those 4 segments of 5 teams, break it down who's finishing where, why we think we're finishing there. All right. Let's start with 20th place, 20 to 16. Josh, who you got 20 to 16?
All right, 2016. I'm just going to start off by saying it is going to be an highly competitive season, especially at the top of the table. Lots of very good clubs now. I feel like more than we've had in a very long time in the Premier League. It might be tempting to project drop-offs for teams like Newcastle, Brighton, Brentford, even Aston Villa, given the potential for transfer turmoil. And a lot of those clubs are competing for Europe, in Europe for the first time in a long time. But at least, 2 of those guys will survive that. So it'll be exciting to see. And now you got to think Chelsea, Tottenham will only have Prem League games and domestic cups as their focus. And Liverpool just exists. So now going at 20th place, I got Sheffield United. Shocker. Potential takeover in the background. If the uncertainty continues into this season, I see them having a Chelsea 22-23 season. It's just a lot on the club, the players, the fans feel that atmosphere is bad. It's just not really good, especially when you're competing in the league that is the Premier League. At 19th, I have Luton. Not a surprise that they're getting relegated in my rankings. If they manage to not get relegated this season, then congratulations. We'll start calling them AFC Richmond. Staying in the Premier League will require insane investment that I don't think they will give. But again, they have everyone to prove wrong because they're just like AFC Richmond in this last season where everyone thinks they're finishing at the bottom.
Yeah.
18th place. This one could be controversial, but I have Wolves at 18th getting relegated. Biggest reason here, no moves in the window. Concerned about breaching FFP rules in the league. If they don't bring in an important player slash players, they could lose their manager and fight relegation all season long. Nothing going on there. Everyone else around them is getting better, and they are staying the same. You said up to 16?
Yeah, up to 16.
I got
That's
Forest.
16.
Nottingham Forest at 17th. Shocking. I know, however, with all the new transfers and a bloated squad, I don't think Steve Cooper will be able to blend all his players well. 16, Bournemouth. This team ended up the season in a poor form, but when in form, Gary O'Neill's side is a force to be feared.
Gary O'Neill's no longer the manager there.
Oh my god, I freaking knew
Yeah,
it!
Gary O'Neill is no longer the manager. He got fired.
Yeah,
He got let go.
So
They got
who's
better
their manager now?
let me pull up his name. But so he
what's his name?
It's Andoni Ariola.
Okay.
Highly talked about. I'll talk about it when I talk about Bournemouth. But dude, they sacked Gary O'Neill, and within 3 hours they hired this guy. So like this is their
They
guy.
hired that guy.
Okay, I mean, I still have them there though. They have a very, when I look at their squad, it's they have good players. I freaking, in the back of my mind, I was like, but yeah, I still have them there.
Okay.
Who's up next?
All right, AJ, you want to give your 20 through 16?
Yes, I will give my 20 through 16. 20th, I have Luton Town. I'm sorry, Luton. Your signings so far have not been that inspired to me, and I like Josh said, like I don't see them investing a lot of money into staying up. But once again, we'll be rooting for you because it's not like we want to see you at 20th or low or relegated. It's that we don't think you're gonna make it out of the relegation zone. And at 19th, I have Sheffield United. Also, with the takeover happening, they haven't made, at least as far as my knowledge, any like remarkable signings. Like at least at Luton Town, I know they've signed a person, but I don't know if Sheffield has signed anybody of mark, and like that's pretty concerning to me.
Yeah.
As like a promoted again. And then 18th, I might get some flack for this, but like I hate the fact that they stayed up last year. I'm gonna say Everton.
Repeat that again. Oh, you said Everton.
Everton.
Yeah.
Everton. They should have gone down last year. They haven't bought. They have players. Don't get me wrong, but they always look like crap, and I just personally hate the way they play. And under Sean Dyche, like I know that they'll probably be competitive, and they might be 17th, 18th again, especially if they don't sign any more players and they don't get rid of their ownership, their leadership. Just like I'm sorry, Everton, the minor Everton fans that are watching this right now. I apologize. I just don't think you make it, which is huge for that club, by the way, if they do.
Yeah.
And maybe that leads to ownership change. So, and then at 17th, I have Wolves barely surviving. Just as Josh said, they haven't signed anybody. They're on FFP charges. Like, fear of, like, they need signed players. Their manager's a decent manager, but I think they barely scrape. Like most of these teams down here, I think they could flip flop. Like, but it's just how I think they're going to finish. So, like, if I saw Wolves relegated and Everton at the 17 spot, would I be surprised? No, I don't think anybody would.
Yeah.
And for my 16th, I have Forest. I think they have the investment. Clearly, they signed like 30 players last year. Uh, I just think they're gonna be bottom feeders, but they'll probably be a little bit better than they were last year. Like this much, like fractionally that much. But I think they're an okay squad that stays up.
All right.
And
I like that. I like that. All right, I'll go with mine. My 20, Luton Town, clearly. It's between Sheffield and Luton. But I have 3 words for Luton, and it's really sad, but they're not good enough. That's actually 4 words. Cool stadium back,
that's
but
four.
yeah, cool stadium, but they'll be back in the championship next season. Thanks for coming. Try again soon.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about Luton. 19th, I have Sheffield United. Sheffield United reminded me of Norwich. They're one of those like yo-yo teams in the Premier League. They kind of come up, they stay for a season if they're lucky, and then they go right back down to the championship, and then they fight their way through the championship and come right back up. But I don't think Sheffield are good enough, and I honestly don't like them. I don't like them at all, but it's an easy 6 points every time we play them. So we'll take the 6 points and we'll send them down to the championship next season.
Don't say that. You're gonna jinx them now.
There are only 2 wins of the season.
This year.
Yeah, the only 2 wins are against United.
Yeah.
That's fine. At 17th, I have, or sorry, 18th, I have Wolves. Controversial, yes, but I think 2 of the 3 of us have Wolves in our relegation zone for good reasoning. I said it could have been one of 4 teams in this place. But Wolves' midfield is going to get overran so many times this season. They lost their best player in Ruben Neves. They lost Joao Moutinho. Matheus Nunes can't carry their team the entire year. They don't have a true goal scorer. And they don't have a true aggressive player. Like Diogo Costa came on and got yellow cards and was aggressive for them. Was he good? No, not at all. But at least they had someone to do that. This season, they're literally just going to get walked all over. And I think they go down finally, which I don't think to any. I don't think there's any objection out of this podcast for them to go down.
No.
I think we're all happy if they go down.
Yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, 17th.
Yeah.
Another controversial one. I have West Ham finishing in 17th. I think they just barely scraped safety. Them and Wolves fight it out to the end. Should have gone down last year, but their team was just a bit better than everybody else's last year. They finished 2 points ahead of Forest and Bournemouth and 3 ahead of Everton. But West Ham were in the relegation zone up until 3 weeks left in the season. They lost their best player in Declan Rice, and they have yet to do anything with the money that they got for him. Honestly, just let them go down at this rate. I'm tired of looking at the bubbles. 16th, to finish off my set, I have Everton. I think Everton do just enough to get Premier League football again next season. Signing Dan Juma is going to be a really good signing for them because Dominic Calvert-Lewin cannot stay healthy for the life of him. So Dan Juma coming off the wing or at the striker position is going to be really good. Everton fans, buckle up. It's going to be a roller coaster season again, in and out of the relegation battle, fighting till the end. Hopefully you're up to boycott some games again next season because your ownership is not going anywhere from what I've seen. And last but not least, I hope your best player doesn't leave them again, Richarlison. So we'll go from there. That's our 20 to 16. Let's go 15 to 11. Josh, lead us off again, 15 to 11.
Okay. I got 15, Everton. Incredible they are here this season. They have underperformed massively last season. But with Sean Dyche staying a full season, they should be clear of relegation. I don't think they do anything amazing. Also, they had Frank Lampard as their manager, so you just have to feel bad for them. It almost feels like Frank Lampard, you bring him in to get relegated. So lots of, what you guys were talking about with him. I mean, I think the biggest thing here is there's no Frank Lampard. Sean Dyche is a aggressive manager, and they'll fight to stay out of that area. They don't want to be there again. They know how it feels. 14th, I've got Burnley.
Yeah.
They'll just be mid. City showed them what it means to be a top Premier League squad. I think if they add a few smart signings, they'll be okay. I don't really have much to say about Burnley, to be honest. You
He
said
ever does.
the 12th, or
Vincent
11th.
Company.
All the way to 11th, brother.
11.
the original Swab
11.
head. Where am I at? 13th. Fulham at 13th for me.
Okay.
I said mid again. Marco Silva has done well with this team, but if they lose important players like Polina, they will struggle.
It's true.
They lose just
They lost Mitro.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but they signed him. They signed Raul Jimenez, so I think that's just
Yeah.
going to be equal replacement there.
I think
Yeah, but like they're basically banking. They're banking on Rolito to be good again, and I don't know if he's gonna be good again.
That's fair.
Excuse me, sir. Don't butt into my rankings
Okay, I'm sorry.
with your robotic voice. No, but I think if they lose just one important player like a Polina, then they'll drop farther in that table.
Yeah.
At 12th place, I have Crystal Palace. They lost Saha. They may lose Elise possibly. They will struggle massively if they can't replace those guys. Those are key players for them. That's really it for them. At 11th place, amidst Chris's ranking for them, I have West Ham at 11. They have a good squad. They did lose Declan Rice, but for an incredible profit. If they use that money for a good piece, they haven't yet, but if they do, they could shoot higher up that table. I know Chris doesn't like them. However, whether or not they will be able to balance league matches and Europa League matches, that's another question. So we'll see how they do. A lot of teams are in that situation, so I think they have potential to do good depending on what happens at transfer deadline day. But for now, I think I have them right at 11.
That's fair. I just think, dude, I can't support them finishing well if they don't. They got 105 million, bro. Spend it. You need a striker. Antonio's getting old. I digress, bro. I don't think they're gonna finish well, but I respect that you have support for them somehow. All right, AJ, 15 to 11. Who you got?
At 15th, I have Burnley. Like Josh harped on, they'll be fine. I think they'll be good enough to just stay alive. I mean, they'll be better than a relegation candidate, but they'll be fine enough to just stay alive. And I think that's what they want to do anyway in your first season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I have them at the moment. At 14th, I have West Ham. We've all been varying on the West Ham, but they're an okay squad. They do have deep players. The balance between European matches and league matches is for sure something David Moyes I don't think is probably prepared for. I will say the rumor of Leon Goretzka possibly getting the money that you're talking about being spent on him, I think that would really help them in general. Do I think that happens? I don't know, but I think the rumor enough is okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna spend it eventually. There's no way they don't. And if they don't, then I agree with you, Chris. But I think they're decent enough again to where they're finishing just okay. And 13th, I have Crystal Palace. They have good players. Once again, they have good players, and they don't have European matches like West Ham do, so they'll probably be a little bit more focused on that. They lose a club legend this off season in Wilfred Zaha. I think that hurts them a little bit, not a whole lot, because they do have young guys who fill that void now. But I think they're also good enough, but not good enough to be Europe. So they sit in that wonderful mid-table.
Yeah.
Once again for the season. At 12th, I have Fulham, and I'll watch that again. I'll reiterate, they're good, not good enough. Mid, like these when talking about mid-table teams, like they have okay players, but like they're just not good enough to get to Europe. And I think Fulham's one of those teams. I am proud that they're not a yo-yo club anymore, though. So I think that's big accomplishment for them.
Yeah.
And I think losing Mitrovic is a little bit of a little bit of a dink, but hopefully Raul comes in and does his thing. And then at 11th, I have Brentford. I believe they also finished 11th past season. I think they're fine. They have good players. They did lose their best player though to betting scandals, and so that for sure hurts them up top. And I think that will reflect in how they play. They play people next season. Like you'd fear kind of getting scored on by Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
But this season, I think they'll be fine. Their manager is good. They have good players. I think 11th is where they end up in the shuffle, and that would be my finish on that.
All right, my 15 through 11. I got Nottingham Forest at 15. They have too much depth to finish in relegation, in my opinion. But that bloated squad's going to hurt them at some point in the season. Steve Cooper gives everything he can for this club. He was on the verge of being sacked last season and turned into a great win streak and kept them alive. And he still got the job. Those fans love the hell out of that team. They're going to do everything they can to stay up for them. Bournemouth at 14th. New manager bounced the entire season. Here we go. They got their new guy. A lot of people are really high on him. I haven't seen much of him, but from what I've heard from a lot of people, he's a really good manager. We'll keep them up for their season. We'll see what they can do next season based on future transfers and stuff. But for this season, 14th is good enough for them. 13th, I have Brentford in 13th. No Ivan Toney for the first half of the season. I think they're going to struggle a lot. They need a goal scorer. They don't have a goal scorer when Ivan Toney's not in the field. He finished third in the Golden Boot rankings last year.
Golden Boot.
Yeah, and when you have a guy like that gone for an entire half of the season, I don't see them doing well. But when he comes back, he's going to light up the league and light that team to finish safely in 13th. 12th, I have Crystal Palace. This is a Roy Hodgson masterclass. Let's put it this way. Palace probably should be finishing 15th, 14th, 15th, 16th, but I think they get to 12th. They lose Wilf Zaha, who is Roy Hodgson's prodigy child. But I think Olise and Eberechi Eze carry this team to mid-table. Olise is going to leave at the end of the year, though, after this amazing season he's going to have. He's going to get a big move, but until then, him and Eze are going to have...
To Man City.
If he goes to Man City, I will cry. But Eze and Olise are going to have their breakout years, and we'll go from there. In 11th, I have Burnley sitting in 11th. Vincent Kompany is going to be the rising manager of the year. I think he'll win Premier League Manager of the Year. He dominated the championship last year, and I think he's going to be incredible for the Premier League. Burnley's always a tough opponent away. It's really hard to go to Turf Moor and win games, even to draw games. They seem to win every game at home. And I think they're going to prove that point here by finishing in 11th place. Perfect. That's the bottom half of the table. And now I think here we go, Josh, 10 through 6. We're going to start getting into the big boys.
All right. At 10, I have Brentford. Like you guys said, no Ivan Toney for a long time. Sucks. But this squad will be okay without him. That is a massive amount of goals that is going to be missing from the team. Yeah. But I think they're going to be okay. I don't know if you guys were able to watch or just even see highlights of their game today.
No.
But watch the goals that they were scoring. One was a pen. Just the way that they were moving, they looked really good, bro. And some of those potential goals, like there was a crossbar down. I think that was the other team. It was Aston Villa, but that goal that they scored, you guys will know it was good. And I think the team will be okay, and that's why I have them at 10. If they had Tony, they'd be finishing higher. But at 9, Aston Villa. All I have is Unai. Good evening. It's Aston Villa. Unai, itchy nose. Look at him, smile on his face.
Yeah.
At number 8, I have. This could be controversial. I have Spurs. All I have for them, garbage can.
I don't know
club.
if that's controversial, bro. They're trash. You know the chant. Chant.
All I have is garbage can club, and if they actually lose Kane, it's going to be a hell of a rough season because that's 30 plus goals missing from the team.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't
even
know.
worse than Ivan 20 missing.
Like I think I was talking to Chris the other day, and we were like talking about who they have on their team, and I was like, okay, like okay, yeah, Richarlison. I don't know. It's whatever. What are we going up to here?
6.
6. Okay, 7.
6.
Brighton. All I have, annoying freaking team. Now with Thursday night football, they'll have a more chaotic schedule. I think they'll have a difficult year. But they're annoying. They're there to stay, I think. They did lose McAllister, but I mean, they'll be fine. I don't think they're losing Caicedo. Caicedo's gonna stay because they're just gonna keep him. They're not gonna let him go. I don't see him coming to Chelsea at all, to be honest. I don't see him going anywhere for a long time unless it's going to be for a ridiculous fee. So I think they're going to be fine. I hope that they rot, though. I really hope that they just do terrible this season. Drop Caicedo's value. And then at 6, this one people might not be happy with because I don't know why they think Liverpool is going to finish in a top 3 spot, but I have Liverpool at 6. Maybe it's a controversial take.
I love it. I love it.
None of us here are Liverpool fans, so that doesn't hurt us.
You're right.
I've seen a lot of influencers place them at 3 or 4, and it's ridiculous. To be honest, it's ridiculous.
Bro, I saw a couple today at 2.
Yeah, this Liverpool squad was supposed to be City's biggest problem last season. And look at them. They had an awful season. They have signed McAllister, Sisbol, whatever the heck his name is.
So
don't get me wrong. It's an upgrade. It's definitely an upgrade on what they have had because their midfield you could just walk through.
Yeah.
But the issue still remains here. Look at this team and look at those all around them. Nothing excites me about this team. They're not Spurs bad, but they're not like exciting. Will Darwin pan out? Question mark. Gakpo isn't World Cup Gakpo. Salah is still there. He's not as good as he was a couple years ago. I don't know. They're just at 6 for me. I don't think they're gonna. I think it's absurd to think that they finished. And I hope I'm not like that guy on the freaking podcast that says it's absurd that Holland's going to get Golden Boot. If they do anything better than 3rd place, I don't know what to say. It's ridiculous.
You'll eat your words. We'll play this clip, and then all the Liverpool fans
we will play this clip like the Kai Havertz clip. We'll play this clip.
Yeah, like the Kai Havertz clip. Okay, quick update on a Kai Havertz bet. If Kai Havertz scores 15 goals and assists this season, AJ has to buy the Ben 10 kit. With Kai Havertz's name on the back. We are already 2 goals into those 15 goals and assists. So 13 more to go, Kai. Keep it up. Let's go. All right. AJ, who you got with 10 through 6?
At 10th, I have this is a little bit of a climb, but I also am high on Bournemouth. I think they're gonna have a really decent season. I do like their new manager. They have good players. This is obviously really hypothetical because 10th is like a really big position for a club like Bournemouth. But I think they can achieve it with the players that they have. And honestly, they're kind of a sneaky team to play last season. And I think they're still going to be a sneaky team for teams to play this season as well. Like they can score goals, they can defend at the back, they can play out of the back. Like I think they'll have probably their best season in the Premier League to date, which is sad to say at 10th, but I think they'll be really good this season.
Yeah. For a yo-yo club that they are, 10th is really good.
Yeah,
I agree.
10th is really good for them. Yeah. So at 9th, I also have Aston Villa. I don't think they reached like the high that they had of last year qualifying for Europe. That's huge for that club as well. But obviously, balancing those matches is quite a tough task. And I mean, as a former Arsenal manager, he sucked at managing us in the Europa League. He was not good at it. So
Well, your club
I don't know if he
doesn't
does it
have
with
the
the
name
squad.
Villarreal.
Yeah. Right. And I just also he's basically you're asking Ollie Watkins to replicate the season that he had last season, and I also don't know if he does that again as
Fair enough.
well. At 8th, I have Spurs as well. Me and Josh are a little bit similar here.
There we go.
Spurs are not good, bro. But like, I'm an Arsenal fan, so like, Spurs are always gonna be crap. But like but like, there's no inspiration in that squad whatsoever. If you lose Harry, that's even worse. Their back line is horrendous. Have they signed a new goalkeeper yet? I don't know. They really need to, though. The new manager is going to have a lot of problems. And, I mean, there's enough talent to get to 8th because they are Spurs. But I think 8th is probably being a little kind. I could see them being 9th or 10th this season easy if it starts out if they leak goals like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
At 7th, I have Brighton. I have Brighton at 7th. I think also I don't. De Zerbi is a good manager. They are annoying. I'm gonna agree with you there. I believe 7th gets you Europa Conference League qualification, right?
Yeah.
Unless
So not
yeah.
So not the highs again of last year, getting the Europa League spot, but once again another challenge for some of these teams that were previously mid-table getting European spots is just like how a manager who's probably never really gotten a European spot balances a squad, especially when squads like that don't have like the massive amount of depth as like a top any big 6 club would. You know what I mean? And so I think that's going to be tough sledding for them. I think most of the guys that they're going to like, I think prepare for Evan Ferguson breakout year. Like he was pretty decent last year, but I think he's going to be on like double-digit goals this year. He looks really good. Matoma has always been good. If Caicedo stays, which we think he is probably because they're being jerks about it.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. And at 6th, I'm sorry, Josh. I have Chelsea. It is better than last season. You will say that. They do,
course.
and I will give praise. I will give praise to this team right now. They look very good. They look so much better than what they looked like last season. I know that's a super low bar, very low bar, but I think the signings they made have looked good. I really do like Nico Jackson. I think Mudryk looks better. I think the squad plays with a better energy. I just don't think they can push it enough to get like an automatic Europa League qualification. But I think they'll definitely be in Europe again next season. There's no doubt in my mind that Poch will get them there, and maybe a domestic trophy as well in the cards for them. So, but don't count out Chelsea. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year, and that's up to my 6th.
Perfect. All right, at 10, I have Fulham. Marco Silva turned down a huge offer, crazy lucrative deal from Saudi Arabia. But I think Fulham do a Fulham. They finish mid-table where they ultimately belong. Fulham fans, you should be happy once again this season. They're doing everything they can, and they're doing everything they should according to the standards that they set for themselves. Number 9, I also have Aston Villa. We're 3 for 3 on the Aston Villa train at 9.
3 for 3.
3. Huge signings for them, man. Diaby and Pau Torres coming in are huge. Mr. Good Evening does everything he can here to compete and get them into Europe, but they fall just short. Like we joked about before, this is not Villarreal. They don't just get to walk into a European spot anymore. There's too much competition now for them. But I think this goes either way between them and Brighton in ninth. But here we are. Aston Villa, I think they're going to finish in ninth. I think one more big signing for Villa next season, because I think they're done making signings. There was a little tease I saw today from their page with a video of Christian Benteke. And I think that's 5 steps backwards for them. But one big signing next season for Villa, and I think they're on their way. I just don't think they can afford to lose Ollie Watkins at all. At 8, this is where I have Brighton. Man, we can't stand Brighton around these parts. They are one of the most annoying clubs ever. Yeah, like some of these clubs know their place of like they develop the talent, like Southampton. They develop the talent and they sell them for middle price to like middle high prices, and they get rid of them and they move on to a big club. But not at Brighton. Brighton give Liverpool the hometown discount. They got McAllister for, what did we say, 35 mil? They got McAllister for
30 something mil. Yeah.
And they're trying to rip Chelsea for 100 million from Moises Caicedo. And they asked us, because we were interested in Evan Ferguson earlier in the window. They wanted 70 million for Ferguson. Like Brighton have lost. Brighton have lost
70 mil.
They've lost their heads, man. And so I'm going to put them at 8. De Zerbi's still one of the best managers right now. He's going to keep them competing in the league. But I think them being in Europe with extra fixtures is going to hurt them. And I don't think their squad is deep enough to handle those extra fixtures a year. I mean, if they go, let's just put this in perspective. Manchester United played over 60 games last season. Granted, we went far in every competition. But we barely had the squad to survive it. Like 1 or 2 big injuries and we were screwed. Brighton are the same way. Evan Ferguson goes down, they have to put Danny Welbeck back up top. And Danny Welbeck is too old to be competing in Europa League anymore. But I digress. We'll move on. 7, Tottenham Hotspur finished in 7th place. Hopefully a Conference League for them next season. They need to. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you say about Spurs, bro? Like AJ, you mentioned the chant earlier in the pod. That is all I could think of when I was writing about Tottenham, bro.
What do we think of Tottenham?
That's all I could think of, man. And with Harry Kane rumors every day, leaving the club, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, all of that. That's all I can think about is Spurs aren't going to finish in a great spot. But hopefully they're back in Europe. Ange, I don't want to say his last name because I'm going to like Postecoglou from Australia. The first
Postecoglou, yeah.
Postecoglou, the first Australian manager
to
manage the Premier League. I think he's going to have a good season there. Spurs fans need to be patient. It's going to be a rebuild. Number 6, this is where I have Newcastle falling. They severely overachieved last season. Nobody expected them to finish in Champions League spots. But again, like I said with Brighton, I think these extra comps take it out of them. Newcastle fans can't be too upset, though, since they're still going to be in Europe next season. And they're going to be pushing hard for that Champions League football again, because once you get the taste of Champions League football, you don't want to stop going after it. But I just don't. We haven't seen that Saudi Arabian money yet. We haven't seen that big splash. I mean, their biggest splash, correct me if I'm wrong, but this season it's been Harvey Barnes for 35 million. Like, I haven't seen any other big transfers from them, but yet the country of Saudi Arabia is more than happy to shell out.
Tonali. That Tonali for 70 mil.
I'm not gonna go into my Tonali hate speech here. The guy clearly doesn't want to be there. The guy clearly doesn't want to be there. So that's all I have to say. But I mean, you think with a club that's being run by a country, they'd have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend for them. FFP regardless, because Man City don't give a crap about FFP either. So why should Newcastle care about it? But I think they finish in 6th. They'll finish in Europa League. My last words for Newcastle are buckle up, Eddie Howe. You better hope they give you that Saudi money soon. Otherwise, you could be the next one out the door. Look, 6 through 20. I don't hate it. I don't hate any of ours. I don't think we've had some real stinkers yet.
Oh boy.
I don't think we've had some real stinkers.
Oh boy.
All right. We're gonna do 5 through 1. I think AJ, let's hear your 5 through 1 first, and then I'll go, and then Josh will let you finish off your 5 through 1.
All right. At 5th, I have Newcastle. Just like talked about, I think the lights are going to be a little too bright, but I also think their squad's good enough to go to Europe again. I I don't want to say it depends on the group they get, but I would not be shocked if they got knocked out in the round of 16, or not the round of 16. If they made the round of 16, that'd be incredible. The group stage, I have a feeling they might get knocked out of the group stage. I'm sorry, Newcastle fans, but I think it's gonna be a little too much. The spending isn't like crazy either. Tonali's a fine signing. Harvey Barnes is a okay to average signing. Not a whole lot like, wow, we're gonna survive, we're gonna do it. I mean, you're definitely, from like where you've been in the league, you're definitely doing amazing, like better than you ever thought you could. But maybe a domestic also in your future, that wouldn't surprise me either. But I think fifth is where you're at. And then at fourth, I have Liverpool. No, Josh Dunham. I think they barely made enough like changes in midfield, and I think Darwin's having a decent preseason right now, to where I'm like, yeah, they can make fourth. Like you said, like they're not competing with City right now because they've had to kind of retool the squad. But I think they're just good enough to get back into Champions League football again. We'll see how they do in the Europa League this season. That also could possibly hurt this position as well, because they could be focused on winning that just to get back into the Champions League. But I think fourth is a good enough spot for them, and I think they won't be happy with it, but I think it's what they can do with the squad they have at their moment in time. At third, I have Manchester United. Another really good squad. Clearly doing really well under Eric. I think once again, I think they'll be. I mean, it's a one position higher than they were last season. I think they'll do fine in Champions League. No?
We finished third last
Yeah,
year.
you were fourth. I thought you were fourth last season.
We
You finished
finished
third
third.
again. You finished third last year. Oh yeah, you did, because Newcastle finished fourth. I apologize. Yeah, I think you finished the same in third place again.
Man, AJ,
Yeah, I
AJ
think it
out
only
here,
goes
AJ,
up from here.
AJ out here disrespecting both our clubs. I'm gonna have to drop Arsenal down to
Oh,
seventh. I'm gonna drop Arsenal to seventh real quick in my rankings.
That's-
Hold on.
It's fine. We're used to that.
Go ahead.
I think it only goes up for here for United. They're just going to continue to get better. I mean, hopefully they get new ownership. That's what you hope for. Rasmus Holland, hopefully he pans out. Hopefully Jadon Sancho comes back to form. They have a good team. Casemiro's good. Mason Mount's good. Like their midfield is Bruno's good. Rashford will probably have double digits in his season again. They'll be fine. I have no worries about United. And second place, I have Arsenal. I have my club. I have to put them second because they basically proved last year that they're bottle jobs and that they can get the job done. And so for now, they sit at second. We got our man. We got Declan. I've talked about it a lot on here. I think it will be a huge improvement. He's looked okay in preseason, but I think once the real games get going, I think he'll start to click with our guys. Second's good enough for us. But I think second and no trophies again is not good enough. At least a domestic cup for us. I really hope we at least get a trophy out of the season. I think once again we're competing with City, and hopefully we get the better end of the stick this time against City. Hopefully we're prepared and we don't look like fools, and we stop underestimating our opponents, and our fan base stops giving people bulletin material. I hate our fans. They always do that crap.
All right,
So stop doing it.
Who do you have at one?
Man City.
Yeah.
The kings of the Premier League. they're basically everybody jokes like how all other leagues are farmers leagues. Man City treats this league like a farmers league. It's like they could have the worst start to the season ever, like dropping points every other weekend, and then at the final 3 months undefeated, no blemishes on the record. Incredible goal scoring, people in incredible goal scoring form, whether that's Erling or Ilkay Gundogan, which they did lose, but they just they reload, they get people back in there. They're gonna be fine. I really hope they don't win the league again. I really hope that maybe one of these top four, actually not Liverpool, through Liverpool, either Arsenal or United win the league. I'd totally be cool with that. If City win the league again, it's whatever. It's meh. But I digress. Like there's still things, and they still take number one.
Yeah, I think it's normal. Just normal day in the office of City win the league again. All right, my 5 through 1. Let's go through it. Number 5, Liverpool. Did they really improve? We've talked about them a little bit here. I really don't think they improved. They lost Fabinho, they lost Jordan Henderson. Trent doesn't have a real stepping place into this team. Does he play center mid? Does he play right back and get burnt every game again? They replaced those two guys with some hopeful future squad stars. I don't think McAllister comes in and shines bright like he did at Brighton. I really don't. Szoboszlai is good. He's an upgrade. Yes, we said that, but I don't think he's a piece that gets him over the line. Darwin Nunez looks really good in that number 9 jersey, though. And I hate Liverpool, and I'm not a big Darwin Nunez guy, but that number 9 looks really good on him. And I think he does it really well. He does his best to bring them back. Mo Salah, I don't think has a great season again, but it's Mo Salah, so he'll score 15 goals and he'll help Liverpool. My biggest thing with them finishing in 5th, I think we're going to hear some Klopp resignation / sacking talks again, like we had last season. I think they're going to talk about how Klopp fell off and he's not doing great. I think at the point last season we had that was when BR Football posted the Battle of Mid was Chelsea versus Liverpool. And I think that was like the peak of the resignation / sacking talks for Klopp. And I genuinely think we get that again, because Liverpool fans aren't going to put up with finishing below United, below City, and below anybody else that finishes above them here. So Liverpool 5th. They're still in Europe, but it's not where they want to be. But I'm happy that if they finish in 5th, because outside of Champions League is really good. Number 4, this is where I have Arsenal. Champions League football knocks them off their high perch. Too many cup competitions. I think they're going to be. I think the too drawn out, and I generally think they're going to need some major injuries from Arsenal this season. That's going to make them take a step back. We saw how much they struggled when Gabby Jesus went out last season, and I think we're going to have that issue again. I don't know where. I don't want to predict injury onto somebody, because that's messed up. But I do think that we're gonna see Arsenal struggle again with that. And with that, I think that puts Mikel Arteta back on the hot seat. Got to win something next season if they don't do anything this year, or it's goodbye Mikel Arteta. And Project Premier League goes back on hold until the team figures it out what they want to do again. So Arsenal 4, Chelsea in 3. This is my stunner, bro. This is my stunner. Who would have
no way Chelsea finishes higher than us?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that we'd be here again? Chelsea Football Club finished 3rd place after their monstrosity of last season. No European football definitely helps them this season. I mean, we talked about it a few times. This preseason, this looks like a completely revitalized, rejuvenated Chelsea team. One that we saw 2 years ago before we had this whirlwind of Russian sanctions and new managers and FFP, $600 million spent. And I think Chelsea of old's back. We had the meme, Ole's at the wheel. Well, Poch's at the wheel. Here we go. Chelsea finishing 3rd. Clip this right now, and I don't think I'm wrong. I think Chelsea finished 3rd place. They're here, and Chelsea Football Club is back. I don't know if they win a trophy, but 3rd place is serious improvement off of 12th last season.
One, bro.
Summer series doesn't count in my domestic levels here.
They just won the summer series.
It's better than the Florida Cup that Arsenal won a couple years ago. All right. At 2, I have Manchester United. Biasly, I really wanted us to put us at 1, but that would be stupid because we're not winning the league. I have here for United so close for Manchester United this season. Second place was the goal at the beginning of the year. Some new signings really help our flair and promise to this team. Andre Onana is going to make us look like a rejuvenated club. Actually being able to pass the ball out of the back, unlike David De Gea, who's stuck on the goal line every single play. This team right now, the best part about it is we're going to keep building players that Eric think fits the mold of a team that he wants. So we can challenge the great Manchester City next year for a title, hopefully. A trophy for United and one of the other domestic comps will truly help us make it a success of a season. I really hope we make it out of the round of 16 in the Champions League this year. I think it'd be a real disappointment if we don't. Other than that, I think second place for United is a really good finish of the season. But again, I think we need a couple signings to the door, another midfielder, anything else that'll help us get through. Højlund, can we just talk about Højlund for a second because that just happened. I think we talked about it in the chat, and I know I said I don't think it's an overpay, but I think we overpaid compared to what media standards think. Regardless of what everybody else says, I think he's going to be really good. He's only 20 years old. He scored 16 league goals last season for Atalanta, which I know there was some level of other U21s that scored goals in their season like that in the league. Osimhen had 0 in his age 19 season. Haaland had 8, I believe. So, I mean, Højlund's up there. Granted, he played in Serie A, but for 75 million up front with another 10 million in add-ons, Atalanta wanted a 90 to 100 million package. And we got out of there with an 85 package. So we'll take that. And I think that's an improvement for our standards of negotiating, because in the past, like we saw last year with Anthony, we paid what clubs wanted to get our player. And we've underpaid on every signing so far. And I think that's the new mold of Manchester United. But can we please get a damn owner through the door, bro? Please. I'm so sick of I'm so sick of this. Like, we haven't had any transfer and any takeover talk in 2 months. I'm sick of it. Let's just get something done. Number 1, not surprising, Manchester City. They can't stop winning. They lost some key wingers in Mahrez. Key winger. But I think Phil Foden comes into his own this year, has a breakout year at that right wing position. You get Grealish on the left, Haaland through the middle, and Foden on the right. Foden's going to do his own thing. Haaland's going to do his thing. City win the league again. Case closed. Book closed. 2024, 2025. Bring it on. Josh, what you got?
Okay. At number 5, I've got my team, Chelsea. Todd Bowley needs Mauricio Pochettino to work out, and Pochettino needs Pochettino to work out. Chelsea's massive depth of talent should almost all be inspired for their our chances at doing decent this season. There are maybe some still questions regarding the atmosphere at the club, but Pochettino and Bowley have cleared out a lot of the problems that we have had at the club. He's had lots of time to anticipate squad needs, working before he was supposed to be working. Mount leaving was a good thing for us. I think it sucks, but because players that don't want to be at the club, that's the problem that we had, and now we're growing that locker room aura to what it should be. I think the whole thing with him going to your club and all of that stuff going on, and him being like, "Oh my gosh, it's beautiful in this locker room." I think that was a really big problem for us as a team. Amidst everything else that you had stated, that was probably the hardest season, a year of football for the club, for the fans, financially, all this stuff going on. It's ridiculous. Like, of course we finished where we finished. We need to score more goals. Lots of question marks for this young and full of potential team. However, that is the many case for many clubs this season, and the amount of question marks at Chelsea leave them out of top 4 for me. A lot of what ifs if they can. However, they have all of us to prove wrong. To me, I have the utmost hopes for a lot of our players. It's up to Jackson, Mudryk, Madueke, Enzo, and Kunku. I have not been this excited to like watch a season for a long time. I know that we're not going to be perfect. I know we're not going to be maybe playing the most beautiful football all the time. I know there's going to be a lot of mistakes this season. All I will say is it's a young club, a very young team now. Lots of promising players. I see what the model is that they're working with. I like what Bully and them are doing in the upper management with buying these players, loaning them out to Strasbourg. They're smart, dude. They're freaking smart Americans.
Business, bro. It's all about capitalism.
They're very, very smart. And the last thing I have to say about this team that I love so much is if we sign Mbappe, then I'm pushing us to first. No, I'm just kidding. All right. That was 5.
4.
And number 4.
Do it. Do it to him. Do it to him.
We've got
Say
Arsenal
already.
We've got Arsenal. Good. AJ, please mute yourself for this. Good signings in Rice and Timber. Very positive squad with lots of growing potential. However, they will be balancing the most competition this season now in Champions League football. So we'll see if they can withstand the pressure. Will it impact their league performances? They have the bottlers gene in their blood. And to expect them to replicate the season they had last will be difficult. They sold the Europa League to Sporting FC and now are in the big boy league in the champs. Good luck losing to Villarreal next year when you guys don't make it through group stages. Kai signing gives me so many question marks. Don't understand what you guys were thinking there. Rice hasn't been great in preseason so far. Hope he pans out for you guys because you sold a freaking liver for him. I don't think Arteta is good enough to take this team through a dynasty, and they just aren't clutch, and that'll hurt them. Anyways.
Wow. All right. The gloves are off. The gloves are off.
All right. Moving at number 3.
Hey, we're still in these rankings. We're still in Champions League, and you know what? At the end of the season, I'm still going to be disappointed in that, but we'll take it, I guess, because that's what
And you know what? I hear you, brother. I hear you, but it's going to stink a lot when you're in 4th place and a team below you wins champs and boots you to 5th. I'm just kidding.
Look,
all
man,
right.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see Arsenal versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League round of 16, and it finishes 10-2 on aggregate again. I cannot wait.
No, we're gonna get him in the group stage. We're gonna get him in the group stage.
Even worse. Knock you out.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, you guys had a really good season. I'm not going to take that from you. Yeah. But we saw the same issues you have had this whole time. It's your club that you guys just aren't good enough to be winners. You're not good enough to be winners. Club. Yeah. You guys have so much to prove. You do have so much to prove, but you are not proving it. You're not proving it. You just signed Declan Rice for 100 mil, dude. So if he doesn't pan out for you guys are gonna look like freaking dummies.
That's gonna look worse than Anthony, bro.
All right, moving to number 3. You guys aren't gonna like this. I have Newcastle United at 3rd. It's a ridiculous team now. They're a force to be reckoned with. They have ridiculous money. The team works great together. They've added a great piece in Tonali. Even though Chris is saying he doesn't want to be whatever, he's gonna play. All that matters is he's going to play, and he's going to like playing there when they're doing good and winning. He's going to complement Gomes excellently. They added Barnes, who we know can be electric when in form. Yeah. He's good. He's a good player when he's in form. He's annoyingly good. If Balsack can stay healthy, he's also an incredible player. Now with Gordon, Almiron, Barnes, Callum Wilson, they have good depth. They have good depth in the team. They probably will make maybe another signing or 2. We'll see. The bottom line is they're dogs at the club, and I think they will give the top 5 the most problems this year. I think a lot of us are going to hate playing them, and I think we're going to see a lot of upsets on teams they go against this season. That's what I got for Newcastle. And the big driving point behind this whole team is that takeover, because it is like it's not like we can't hide it. It's oil money. That's what it is. Look at freaking Manchester City. Anyways, at number 2, I have Man City. Not just kidding.
Next.
All right. At number 2, we have Manchester United. I don't think they are as strong as their biggest rival. However, with additional players they have brought in, there's no reason for them to drop out of top 4. Really good project going on at United, and I think Ten Hag is going to do a good job for them this year. Hojlund, how do you say his name?
Hoyland.
Hoyland.
It's Hojlund. Hoyland.
Hojlund, Mount, Onana, all good additions to the team. No More De Gea is a massive, incredibly huge for them. They have eliminated their issue of playing out of the back with Onana, and they don't have to worry about pens now. That's huge. That goes into clutch factor. I think Hojlund's adaptation to the league and squad will play a big factor on how they do this season. Unleash freaking Rashford, dude. It's going to be a great season for Rashford now that he can do his thing. I think Sancho's going to have a breakout season. Get rid of Slabhead, bro. Get him out. We're changing the captaincy for them. Really good for the club. Really good for the aura.
Huge actually.
Freaking fun team to watch, bro. Fun freaking team to watch. Ten Hag is cooking something here, and I wish I could give him a kiss on the head. Look out for freaking Manchester United this season. Honestly, if I were to say one team is going to give the Man City a problem, I think United have the potential to make that push. I don't think they will do it this year, but I think definitely in the years to come they will win a title. Ten Hag is smart. He's freaking aura merchant, bro. Just seeping out of him. Like if you put Ten Hag next to Arteta is his shadow. And then I'm sorry, AJ. And then at number 1, it's not a surprise, like we've all said. It's Manchester City. It's gonna be Manchester City. They just are there. They are them. I don't think anyone is ready to take on Man City. Last season we all thought finally Man City were gonna be defeated, but they
Arsenal.
It's frustrating. I think that's what's fueling my anger even more, is that it's ridiculous that Arsenal bottled that. And at the end of the day, it's not so much Arsenal bottling it. It's more so Pep Guardiola will forever be a legend in this game as a manager, more than he was a player, but he is just a genius. He has always made the right moves in every transfer window. They make transfers every single year that frustrate us. Rightfully so. Would love to be proven wrong, but they're just as strong as ever. Erling regime is ridiculous. Erling Haaland is ridiculous. He will only get better and better and better. That is just a player he is. They have such a good freaking buy on him. Mahrez is gone, but like Chris said, no problem. Phil Foden is there, and we know Phil Foden is good. We know he has the capability to be that club's guy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another signing from them. FFP charges mean nothing to this club, which is another reason why they're at number 1. It's just City. At the end of the day, we're just playing in their league, and until someone can prove them wrong, that's it.
It's true. All right, I think we've all agreed. Man City win the league again, unfortunately. With that, episode 9 is a wrap. It's been fun ranking the Premier League season. It's been fun once again talking the podcast with the guys. So for me here, Chris, I hope you guys have a great week. Josh, AJ, thanks again for another fantastic podcast. I love you guys. We love you all out there in YouTube world. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.